welcome to Yates Makes. In this video we're going to be looking at a kind of pop inspired mimic or replication of a screen print PhotoEmulsion technique, but using everyone's best mate, the gel plate. So here's what I'll talk you through, and oh my word, what an amazing bit of kit this gel plate is. You know, look at screen printing is so specialist, you know, that you need so much space, so much equipment, but look, just at my kitchen table, a few tubes of acrylic, gel plate, you know, a bit of imagination, a bit of prep, you can do so much. Anyway, let's get into it. Okay, preparation. Obviously I need my gel plate, I need a few colours. The most important aspect obviously is the photo that you're going to be transferring. Now I have, because I wanted this pop effect, this half-tone filter looks so cool. I've got two different kind of crops here of that, one where you can really see the half-tone clearly. Now at the end of the video I'll tag on a few tips on using Procreate, which I use for this one, and Photoshop, which I use for this one, just to cover a couple of bases. But do not worry if you don't have Procreate app or Photoshop program. This one, which I'm going to also include in this demo, was simply run through a filter on Microsoft Word. Up in the picture format section you can select on contrast, and there's a few different artistic filters you can use, so don't worry. What is really important though, and you have to do, is you have to print these on a laser printer. Now I don't often see this in videos, admittedly I haven't trawled through the internet, but a lot of them neglect to tell you that not only do you need to print it on a laser printer or laser copier, when you print, even if the image is black and white, print it on the colour settings, not on grayscale, not on black and white, on colour. I don't know what this does to the toner, but it just means it transfers a lot cleaner. So print in colour, not grayscale, not black and white. Okay, I've got a kind of mat board, mount board stamp here as well to try and replicate that kind of screen print stencil look. Alright, you know, let's get going. So first thing I want to do is transfer a nice kind of swipe of this star pattern. So I've got here some Pabio. I love these Pabio colours, and they're really good and they're very affordable if you can get them where you live. This one is an opaque rose, kind of vivid pink. So what I'm aiming for is a nice thin even layer. Just take some of the excess off there, and while that's still nice and wet, get that in a better position for you, I'm just going to drop my stencil down, apply some pressure, and hopefully you can see I'm putting a little pressure on the points with my fingertips, you know, the sort of inward facing points. And you know, if this leaves a bit of residue, then fine, you know, probably just add to the effect. Alright, so I'm going to let that dry completely, and then I'm going to lift that with some fluoro yellow. Now before I do though, I'm just going to kind of break some of those textures a little bit, alright, so that they're not all even. Okay, obviously we want that kind of screen printed layered look, and I think breaking some of the kind of opacity and kind of integrity for the shapes is a kind of good idea. Hopefully it will add to the effect. Alright, I'm going to let that dry completely. Okay, I've got my slightly narrower roller here, and I am going to put as a background to these ones a little bit of this buff colour. So Again, nice thin layer, and I'm gonna let that dry completely. Notice I've kind of concentrated on this half. Okay, gonna let that dry, and that's what I'm gonna pull with this nice fluorescent yellow. Okay, my yellow's going down there. Again, you know, I've let that buff layer over the top dry completely, and hopefully this fluoro layer should pull everything off. And I'm already enjoying this. You know, I haven't even got to the kind of main course, if you like, and the sort of photo transfer bit. It's just so much fun playing with layers on this gel plate. So there we go. I'm now going to get my paper. This is 300 GSM kind of smooth drawing paper, quite a heavy thick paper. When you're working multiple layers, letting things dry, building up, I think is pretty important. Seems to work a bit better. Okay, those layers have been down for a while now, so that layer of fluoro yellow should have pulled off, and there you go. So first layer done. That little bit of buff has kind of broken the yellow, which is kind of what I had in mind, just so it wasn't too strong. Alright, so that's going to be my background. I'm now going to transfer our little pop style image of a kind of sharpshooter. Okay, so I've got a bit of residual stuff on the plate I don't want, so I'm just going to get rid of that. Okay, so the plan is, over my background I'm going to transfer this, but really faintly in light blue, so you can hardly see it, and then I've got a smaller copy that I'm going to transfer over in black. So there's quite a few layers, but like I say, I was trying to emulate the sort of screen print process. Let's see how this transfers anyway. So just a small amount of, so I'm mixing some, with that Amsterdam white, some phthalo blue graduate acrylic with a load of gunk around the top, which ain't really useful. Really just a little bit, because I want this quite pale. And I've got a grey. Here we go. Really important, you've got to work quick with these transfers, and when you're mixing a colour, I don't think there's any other way than just kind of swirling it around and then rolling a bit as well. You don't want to get too dry, because you won't get your transfer. So this is going to be quite a faint copy. So there's my image. Just sort of position it there, and then really light touch. So what's that, been on there about 10 seconds. Let's see if it's transferred. So obviously it's going to be quite hard to see because it's blue, but hopefully if I flip it over, that's going to be too dry already to transfer now. So I'm going to have to let it dry and probably transfer it with a bit of colour down one side, a bit of gel medium. But if I flip it over, there you go, if I tilt it you can see he's on there alright. Okay, so we'll let that dry. Okay, good to go. So I'm going to transfer this with some gel medium down this side, some white down this side. Obviously I need gel medium where it's going to overlap. It needs to be transparent because I've already got my background prepared. So let's have a look. Let's get most of this with the white. Should give me a bit of opacity down this side. bit of gunk, get rid of that. I'm not too worried if this doesn't pull completely, because it's just part of my background. It's another layer. So pull that up, get my background ready. So let's have a look. I'll lay that down, and I'm going to leave that to dry, but you know, the blue is going to look really nice over this pink, I think. You know, it might be that I adjust my plans and I don't even bother putting him over the top, but maybe I will, because that was the plan. Anyway, I'm going to leave this a good 10 minutes to dry. I always find the gel medium takes a bit longer to dry than the pigmented colour, or the pigmented paint. Anyway, we'll see. Okay, let's see how this layer's transferred. That's been on there for a good 10-15 minutes, so it should pull off fairly well. I say should, I've missed a bit there, but it's okay, it's a background, and I'm getting a bit of gunk off the plate, which I think I'll quite like. So there you go, you can see image is nicely transferred. I'll hold it up a bit, and kind of playing nicely with the layers underneath, getting some interesting texture, pattern, and yeah, I'm gonna think about now where to position. Probably stick him about there. Oh, I don't know, where should I put him? Maybe there, or maybe there. I'll go for here. Okay. So, get some of this black. Not going to need much. Again, this layer I'll let dry completely, and then I'll transfer with the gel medium. So, nice thin layer down, not hanging around. Transfer. Just pop that down there, and again, just nice light pressure, not hanging around. You can see that one's transferred just fine. Obviously this one being black, you're going to see it a lot clearer. Okay, I'll flip it over, you'll get a better idea of how it will look when it goes down. So I'll let that dry, then that'll be my last layer. Right, this layer is dry, ready for transfer. So what you can do, I mean, a fantastic thing about gel plate is you can, because it's transparent, when you're working like this, you can kind of do a bit of composing. I might just have him peeking out the end of the picture. Is he going to look good there? Maybe not. Maybe I'll stick him here, where I thought originally. Okay, let's do it. Let me faff around with these decisions for too long. So, some gel medium down there. Make sure we get a good even covering of that. Got some interesting textures, sort of from where I did the transfer. Just going to hold it up to the light so I can see, make sure I've got everything covered. That looks pretty good. Right, so just drop that down about there, and flip that over, let that dry. Okay, that's been down a good long time, so let's just peel him up gently, see if he's transferred okay. Let's have a look. Okay, yeah, nice. It's kind of what I was hoping for. Okay, a little bit of text. So this is ballpoint pen emboss, just some handwritten, a little quote from a book I love written across there. The emboss is going to act as a resist. Plenty of videos on my channel if you want to look. Bit of oil pastel as well. Okay, this is going to give me a bit of a horizontal emphasis going across the piece. So inking up, transfer there, stamping it down, and there you go. A little bit of extra textual elements too. Right, okay. Last little layer. I wanted to have one more figure kind of peeping in from the right, and I wanted to use that image that I prepared on Microsoft Word as well. So mixing up a kind of bit of red, bit of white, bit of black here. That's Amsterdam black and white and a Dale Rowney graduate red. Okay, getting this sort of dirty plum colour. Alright, so again, nice thin layer, don't hang around, transfer ready, have it all to hand, down it goes, very light pressure, no longer than 10 seconds I reckon, and peel it up and you should find that transfers just fine. Okay, so again, going to let that dry. I'll flip it over so you can see it's transferred nicely. This one, I want it peeping in from the right, so I'm just going to mask off my right hand edge, so I don't have to worry about how I ink up in gel medium to transfer this. I can be quite liberal with it, make sure there's a good covering, and then sit it over that stencil as you'll watch me do in a second, and it should all position nicely. So there you go, gel medium going down, grab my piece, stenciled off the right, and then I can position that, and I've got this kind of double image thing going on, just peeking in from the right. I'm going to put a mat around this as well to kind of compose it a bit, crop it a bit tighter. You'll see me do that at the end, but left that about 10 minutes, ready to peel up, and there you go. So nice little double image on the right, and yeah, fantastic. Alright, there you go, man. That was so much fun. Popping a little mat over it makes all the difference, and I think this is really true to the kind of PhotoEmulsion, kind of grainy photo transfer screen print effect. The halftone filter definitely makes a difference. Check out the end of the video, but look, if you're not interested in that bit, thanks for watching. Remember, subscribe, share, like, comment, support the channel. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you soon on another video. Stay tuned for a quick bit of info on using apps, programs for preparing images. Take it easy today. Okay, a few tips on editing. First, we'll go with Procreate. So here's a quick drawing I've done of Bill Burrows. So I'm going to go up to my adjustments menu, halftone setting, click newsprint, newspaper, swipe across for the intensity or size of the halftone pattern you want. Couldn't be simpler. That was adjustments, halftone, swipe, easy. Right, next, Photoshop. Okay, open your image in Photoshop, same image again, and I'm going to filter, which is up on the top menu. Under filter you're going to see pixelate, which I'm selecting there, then go color halftone. Now your output settings for this, you'll have to experiment. I'm just going to plug in 10, that'll work. It's quite a high resolution image, and I've got everything else set to 45. Okay that, and you can see if I zoom in there, perfect. Halftone setting, halftone filter rather, done. Just like Procreate, dead simple. Right, Microsoft Word, last one. If you click on the picture, then go to picture format, then under corrections you'll see picture corrections. Click on it at the bottom and you have this little secret menu no one seems to know about, and you can play around and experiment until you get it how you want, grainy, high contrast, etc. Okay, take it easy, bye bye.